Hello folks, this is Bullet Brew, Arne Pilzet to Mike, together with another teammate, Max
Hello.
Krisevich. So today we're gonna cover the news and trends concerning the latest set and the bannings in Modern, and how does that impact the metagame, and what archetypes you're gonna expect, what new archetypes, and the answers to the obvious deck choices. So I have a much longer list with regard to possible winners and losers for Modern. What I got for the obvious headlines in terms of tags after Splinter Twin and Summer Bloom get banned. What I think is on a lot of people's minds right now are decks like Tron, Scapeshift, Infact, Reanimator with Garay's Vengeance, and the Black Axe Eldrazi decks, Heavy on Ayavugan and Eldrazi Temple. And then what I have as sleepers, so to speak, decks that's been mentioned in some sources too, like Pyromancer Ascension Storm, Ad Nauseum, Blue-White Red Control with Resto Kiki or just straight Jeskai Control. Then some versions of Delver as an answer to the ramp decks, just to be quick with Counterspell backup. So tempo based, and Blue Moon could be a contender in the new meta game. Somebody might argue that Affinity gained a bit of like strength, and then some collected company decks maybe could be viable even more than before, because for example Naya Company can produce all the hate bears, but also they have burn spells and just massive creatures, so unless they have some instant response, Eldrazi decks or Tron decks or Scapeship decks might have troubles answering resolved collected company and the impact of that. And then what else I got? Some Grixis control, although I'm not sure about that. Kiki Core deck, the one Jeff Hoogland popularized. Then I have Blue Black Fairies just as a question mark, because it's a tempo based blue counterspell deck. Then I have some iterations of Jeskai Ascendancy maybe, but I'm not sure about it. Maybe going back to Glittering Wish and the rest. And then I think the big meta decks could be Beat with Levenant, although maybe not Tron, because that means Relic of Progenitors main deck. But I don't know, Eldrazi decks or Scapeshifts. On the other hand, the Scapeshift deck, the most popular version of it, runs blue and runs counter magic, so I'm not sure about it, but maybe leaving it counters the response to those big mana decks. So let's hear from you now.
Okay, I have just played one modern tournament this Friday Night Magic.
I'm sorry, like 1 moment. Could you not shake your computer, because
Okay.
your image jumps around a bit.
Okay, so I played one tournament and the winning deck was Jeskai Control. It had some Paranoid Land Destruction sideboard plan. It has 2 Crumble to Dust, 1 or 2 Aven Mind Sensors to stop fetching or stop searching for lands.
Okay.
So it beat me as Scapeshifts, it beat Red Green Tron, and another winning deck was Jant. It also had Paranoid Land Destruction sideboard, some number of Fulminator Mages, some number of Molten Rain in Jant.
Damn.
Nobody was playing any aggressive strategy, maybe only collected company elves, but this is more combo of go wide strategy. Okay, we expect some players to continue play Burn, because Burn will be always good and playable, especially with Molten Rains versus big mana decks. So maybe our local meta is over prepared for big mana decks and they will not be going very good just now.
Right, so let's try to think next level and okay, let's say big meta decks are hated out, and what can trump the decks that are trying to jam all the Mind Sensors and Fulminators and Molten Rains?
Maybe some Infect, maybe, or some very skill intensive Burn player can beat them.
I don't know, like, how can it be good for Infect, cause you can still, like, destroy all the Nexi.
Well, skilled Infect players can always find line of winning. Just one creature and one or two protection spells can ruin your day.
Could be.
Now I'm happily playing Bring to Life Scapeshift, and I expect it to be a very good deck with a lot of powerful options. For example, versus Merfolk, I have a sideboard plan as Inferno Titan. They were no expert in it. It destroys one creature when it comes, and destroy more creature when it attacks, and they were just crushed by it.
You mean the Infect deck, or which one?
Merfolk deck.
Oh yeah, Merfolk's right. Yeah, I could totally see that. Like, that sounds kinda horrible for the Merfolk's player. That's for sure.
Yeah, they just have Spreading Seas and maybe Ghost Quarters, but this is not enough late hand for Scapeshift. We just have more and more ramp spells.
Huh. Crazy. Me as a player for Abs and Company for quite some time, I could say I have mixed feelings. On one hand, with the bands, I lost this quite good matchup, like not very favorable in the form of twin variants, but I would say slightly in my favor. And then I lost Summer Bloom, which was like one of the worst matchups for the deck. And then as a result, I might be facing in the coming weeks like a lot of big mana decks or some other degenerate combo decks. So there is that. Your cat is wild, like, well.
Okay, yeah.
While my guests are really ignoring what is going on in my case as well. So yeah, it's hard to say what will be on top. I'm at the upcoming Pro Tour just a few days later, coming up very soon this weekend, and
actually next weekend. It starts on 5th February. We
5th
have
February?
Two weeks.
Is it really 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's still a bit of time. I would say I would be really glad if McLaren's gonna pick up what I think he would, some form of Jessica control, maybe with the combo, maybe just value and like a Johnny Vengeance and stuff like this. Either way I would be happy, and I think I would be rooting for him and for that deck, because to me I don't see a downside of like running that deck, and I think it will be very strong, especially the control version with the combo inside of it. So 3 copies of Restoration Angel plus couple of copies of Kiki Jiki. I think it should be a pretty strong deck choice, unless I'm missing something concerning the forecasted prognosed metagame at the Pro Tour.
I expect a lot of red-green front decks in top, maybe one burn deck who has good matchup versus Tron, maybe some Zoo decks, and not a lot of control decks in top.
Interesting. I'm kind of the opposite, so I'm rooting for a lot of blue decks. Well, hoping at least. So otherwise, I will be kind of disappointed. Um, it's interesting to think about what in the past pushed Tron away from modern. What made it not so amazing? I guess
It was
Twin.
Splinter Twin, yeah.
Was there anything else that kind of negated it?
Maybe just land destruction from sideboard and very aggressive strategies. But Tron has tools to combat anything of them. They have Pyroclasm in main board, they have Relic of Progenitors to fight Tarmogoyf, so they can slow the game down and then win them with Khan or Ujin.
Right, or Ugin. Yeah, but was there anything else? Yeah, I guess those are the main reasons. Burned axe again, I suppose. Um, and various hyper aggro decks. How do you like Gore's Vengeance decks in this metagame?
Everybody says that this is very inconsistent, it loses to yourself. I need to test it, but I think without good hands like turn 1 Faithless Looting, turn 2 Glorious Vengeance, it will mostly do nothing. It may draw the wrong part of the deck and lose to yourself, or lose to 1 or 2 very tiny Thought Seizers.
Well, I'm the fan of the Grixis version of Reanimator with Easy Charm and some other counter magic and some other utility spells. I really like Easy Charm in that deck. I know you really like Easy Charm in your Escape Ship deck.
Sure.
That's proven, and I think in that deck too it's quite a star. How do you think about what do you think about Jace, Rince Prodigy, and Reanimator deck?
This is really a creature which works great for Reanimator decks. It lets them put a creature in graveyard and then cast some spells from graveyard. It's really great for them.
It's not news. I've seen it weeks and maybe even months ago in Legacy and Reanimator deck.
Yeah.
As this kind of value creature. I'm not sure whether it was main deck, maybe it was sideboard, and probably not 4 copies, maybe like 2 or 3.
2 copies main, I think.
Could be, could be. It really just fits that deck almost perfectly. Just ways to loot all the time and way to flashback Reanimator.
There is also some interesting deck which works like Glorious Vengeance Reanimator, but the reanimation target is Ozhov Ghost Council, the new one from Gatecrash.
Yeah.
You just reanimate it once and it stays forever on the battlefield, draining life over and over again.
Yep, it's a thing, but you can still, in response to the trigger when it wants to flicker, you can still like kill it with some Path to Exile or something like that.
But only instant removal, no sorcery removal for this.
I don't know, Modern to me was to a big extent associated with instant spells.
But okay, but there is more reanimation targets. We also can reanimate Wizardbrand and just win the game.
Okay. I can see that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Standard then. Okay, again, Big Eldrazi's, again the Ram deck is in the spotlight. And then there are some brews that I've seen like popping up here and there. I haven't looked through a lot of the coverage from the Star City Open, which I think is still going on at the time we're recording this. What I did see was some old archetypes for sure. Then I remember that Joel Asset is in the day 2 right now with the Bring to Light deck in Standard. Well, I think he's a master of that deck, so I wouldn't advise like a lot of people to try out that deck and try this at home, let's say that, because like he knows ins and outs of the Bring to Light builds, so he knows what he's doing, and he tested the deck quite extensively. Then I know about Ross Miriam on Blue Red Provis. I know about that. Apart from that, I haven't really looked up anything new and ridiculous. What I was talking about today with my teammates Valentin, whom you know, who at least got to play in the Pro Tour Vancouver like a few months ago. But this season he's kind of busy with work commitments and elderly relatives and so on, so taking care of them for a while. So he cannot play as much as he would like to, but he would still go to Stockholm with me, I suppose, in July, and maybe something like Manchester in May. I don't know. Some of the British GP, perhaps. While I will be going in June to Prague, I suppose.
Yeah.
He would be might be going to 1GP in spring. He's not sure yet. So he was really thinking that some kind of green-white beatdown deck, green-white X decks, curving out something like off of Nissa into something like Hanger back into actual new Nissa, the Planeswalker, into Gideon, and then some cream on top. So his presentation of this sequence was to defend my argument that Kozilek's return does so much for the Ram deck against aggressive decks, but he was trying to counter my line of thought by saying that with Nissa plus the emblem from Gideon and like another Gideon, your creatures are quickly out of range or return, and before they get to cast a big spell and deal 5 to all your creatures, they're nearly dead by that time. So it's like one punch left at most, or they're already dead. It doesn't have to be with the off of Nissa, or let's say as a free drop instead of Nissa casting off of Gideon, but that kind of deck might actually rise up, because the combination of cards is just too strong. There will have to be a deck that capitalizes on this package of crazy cards. And if let's say some green-white Megamorph style deck curves out into, for example, Warden of the First Tree into Pump for the Warden, or I don't know, Hanger back, or just face up Den Protector again into Nissa or Gideon, or off of Gideon, something like that, or just a random free drop of which there are plenty, maybe like the Magic Origins Nissa. It will be hard to catch up even for a ramp, I think, because Green-White Megamorph was famous for having a lot of resilience and grinding capacities. So I know that you have limited experience with the current standards. Maybe you will have more with the upcoming standards. We'll see about that. But I know that you're following everything that's going on. So any remarks for the new standards? What you think will get better or get worse?
Well, I am going to test red, green and blue prowess with the new Stormchaser Mage,
Right.
which splashes for green for become immense. I think this will win games fast and quick. This is just all I want for standard. For just now, well, it packs a lot of powerful spells for 1 or 2 mana, so it can win long games too, maybe. Maybe I will make some aggro deck with collected companies, because I really excited to play collected company into a meta reshaper. One or two ones. Much value.
Alright. Yeah, I could see that because with Kozilek's return and the new Infast, which Abzan aggro deck most likely will play in the sideboard, token strategies are not so good, so maybe haste and provis is the key.
Yeah, and creatures with toughness 3 or greater will be the key.
Or with toughness 2 plus provis.
Yeah.
For like in the case of Swift Spear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. What do you think? Like, how would in those builds you would be filling up the graveyard? I haven't looked through very carefully Rosmiriam's blue-red list.
Where you can play fetch lands every turn, you can play removal like Fear Impulse, and you can play one
Wild Slash.
Wild Slash,
yeah.
maybe.
And then the new Wisp or whatever you can call it. 1 mana, give it haste, draw a card. Yeah.
So you can easily make 5 graveyard cards for become immense and finish the game with it. It's just like attack a command deck without token, but with prowess creatures with haste.
I think that will be the key. That will be the key. Even though the new Bushwhacker kind of forces a little bit token strategies, but I don't think this will be the deck playing the combo of Become Immense plus Timur Battle Rage. I think those will be some decks based on the new Nisa, something like that. So some red-green tokens, but operating on different axes, not trying to combo off as fast as possible, but just spamming the board even more than Atarka Red.
But the tokens will die to Kozilek's return, so this may be not viable deck. Maybe.
Could be. There's still that. Oh well. There is that flashy Eldrazi, the new Color of the Claw. What I hate about it is because you get science only for non-tokens.
Non-token, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't really capitalize on that creature in Atarkarad all that much. You know, I really like the Thought-Knot Seer. I wasn't super big on it at first, but it grew onto me. I guess just public opinion kind of got into me. I liked the card, but I knew it was powerful from the beginning. I just didn't see a direct home for it, and I still don't quite see it. Also for the Smasher, the 5 mana 5/5 trample haste dude. So I think we will see some new Eldrazi archetype, not the ramp one, but the mid-rangey grindy one.
Maybe. The Thought-Knot Seer is basically can be put in any deck, because many decks pack 2 playsets of Painland, which can be used as splash for colorless.
Actually, right now, very few decks use the Painlands, but now they would be more used.
There will be more.
Yeah.
For example, I see Abzan Company deck use 4 Caves of Colorless and 4 Level Ways, just like a colorless splash. Maybe
That'll be
enough.
interesting. Yeah, actually, yeah, I don't think it will be the Abzan aggro as we know it. It wouldn't be like they would just use the Painlands and then just play 4 Thought-Knot Seers. I think it will be possibly Abzan, not necessarily. Maybe just black-white, probably black-white, and then maybe splash and green. I don't know. and just Abzan Agro Eldrazi, something like that. I don't think it would be a deck that we're so used to. I think it will be just a completely different deck, just nearly in the same colors, but the core will be very different. That deck might still play Sage Rhinos, might still play Absent Charm, but I think most of the other cards will be different.
Yeah, we'll see what will the meta look like in a few weeks.
How much do you like the 3 and 2 reds for mana creature with that gets you to basically cast for free 3 mana spells?
The name of the card?
I don't remember exact name. It's some goblin or whatever. Basically 5 mana 4 manas. Yeah.
Goblin Dark Dweller.
I guess
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, this seems to be playable. It has a lot of valuable targets, like Nissa's Pilgrimage for ramp or Colligan's Command for more value and more removal. This will see play in various Mardu decks or red-green ramp decks.
I don't really like it that much in RAM because you don't really have that many cheap spells. Just not the critical mass, and those spells is just a ramp. Not real value.
You can double the removal spell and you can double the ramp spell. I think this is enough for the card to be playable for this mana.
I don't know. I don't see it that much in the ramp decks, but I do like it in some Mardu mid-range decks. That's for sure. Call against command, Crackling Doom, yeah.
You need to cast a spell that costs 5 mana. You want to cast it more earlier to stay alive and to make it effective.
Okay, I can see it. So, what we're thinking here, it's probably some red-green beats, Eldrazi.
Maybe Jant beats.
Why Jant? Why Jant? Because of Colligan's command. Yeah. Right. Well, you're not gonna probably like splash Crackling Doom in there.
Maybe this too. Maybe.
Seems kinda hard with the mana. So many double costs and such. Well, but yeah. Rattleclaw Mystic or some or the Gilder into, let's say, Thought-Knot Seer into this guy. Well, yeah, but then you have to have something to flashback. Well, let's say turn 4.
Polygon count. Any removal.
Okay, let's say some 2 mana spell or 2 mana creature like a mana dork. Turn 3, you just play like a couple of value spells and then turn for this guy, or you can always just turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer, something like that. Yeah, I could see that going. It's probably like you're starting with Jant because that's the most value.
Maybe.
Other commands just either cost more or are not that flexible. I'm thinking that Sultai Charm is not belonging there. Then the actual guy like wants double red, so you probably want some red cheap spells in there. Apart from Colligan's command, I don't know what else strikes to mind. Cracking them is sweet, but then roast, yeah. Well, I don't know what your main deck is.
Maybe, yeah. I've seen it in the main decks.
I've seen it too, but I've seen it in decks that were just built to beat Abzan aggro specifically, like the Black-Green Dragons deck. It was just basically built to beat Abzan.
Don't know.
What other cheap red spells we have that's strike value?
Value?
Well, Crackling Doom, yeah, but like then again we're done.
White, it's complicated.
Yeah, 4 mana deck. It's gonna be weird. I can't think of like anything else right now that just
Portland Outburst, more tokens.
not the worst, not the worst scenario. Then just Nisa grow the team,
Yeah.
stuff like this. Not the worst. Yeah, that could happen. Cause you probably might be playing Nisa in that deck anyway. Uh, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Though then we're thinking of not Crackling Doom, Kozilek's return again.
Yeah, it could be played.
Yeah, but then if they cannot play it fast enough, you can just turn 3, cast the Whatnot Steers, exile it away, and not fear it anymore at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. At the same time, this kind of a turn 2 mana dork, turn 4, turn 3, turn 4 big dudes, it wants to play Smasher as well. So
Yeah.
colored spells are a stretch, are definitely a stretch. So I don't think those classical red-green beatdown decks with Neodrazi's will feature a lot of token or spamming synergies. Maybe not even playing Nisa at all. I'm not sure, because you just want to play a mana dork and just start to cast this big, hard to deal with creatures like Seer and Smasher. Alrightish, thank you very much for talking to me today. I appreciate it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think we're wrapping this up. I think we covered most of the things that are probably on most people's mind at the moment. Maybe we could find some time to chat for a little bit in a week or so when we have more data about modern, more data about standards after the SCG Open, and actually see what decks will be in the top 8. Okay folks, until later, bye.
Yeah.